Katina. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. I'm so excited. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
You look amazing. I love your background. I don't even know how you do those things.
My house is a mess, so.
So I was trying just to keep it kind of casual in the back always, but you look amazing and I'm super excited. And remember that, you know, it's going to be recorded. It's, you know, so we can share it later on with many people. And we're gonna start usually about 5 minutes after 3. I just wanted to check that everything was fine. So you still need to do something. Sounds perfect. The image looks great. Am I looking?
Yeah, you're looking wonderful.
You know, it's funny. Like you were talking about like the nerves. Every time that I do something like this, even if you're the star, you know, it is a responsibility, you know, and you know many of these things to hopefully try to do a good job, you know. But it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
I
you.
don't want to even ask you anything right now because I want to, yeah. Because
Okay.
then it's like we're gonna feel like a rehearse already, like we repeated already. But so we'll start. You have some water, everything ready for you?
I am gonna grab my drink.
I, I only have water. It looks like it's wine, but it's water. I promise.
I'm gonna go grab my drink real
Yeah,
quick,
take your
and
time.
I'll be
Still,
right back.
still, it's still early, so I'm gonna start admitting people right here online.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Hello, Claire. We're still gonna wait a few minutes, Claire, and Katina is ready right here. Um, you know, and whatever questions, conversations. I'm like super excited about this. You know, I've been looking forward to chat with Katina for a while, and so just prepare your questions and everything like that, and we're gonna wait, you know, about 5 minutes after we start, and that way we can wait for people to chime in, and also it's gonna be recorded. So ah, started to welcome people and some of the people that I haven't met in video yet, Katina. So I'm super excited about also seeing new faces and um, you know.
Yeah, there's a few that I invited, and then I guess other people invited other people. So.
Yeah, yeah. You know, this is something that we started not too long ago um, in the group. You know, sometimes just trying to keep the space sane and healthy is it takes time. But we started to do interviews in different portions of our communities and chats, and I think they work very beautifully. You know, it's just people get to know each other a little bit more, and you know, hello Zeke.
Hello.
Hey, Zeke.
Hello.
Hi, Katina. How are you?
Good.
to see
I
you.
miss
Oh my
you.
God, it's my first time meeting you also in video. It's gonna be like a first time to see many faces, I'm sure, right here. But very nice meeting you in video, Ziggy.
Pleasure's mine. Yes, thank you. It's nice to meet you as well. Wow.
Yeah, your hair is long. Who's longer, Katina's or Zig? Let's see.
Katina's beautiful. You look great.
Doesn't she look great?
Took
Yeah.
me less than an hour.
Of course, natural beauty.
So just relax and get with your drinks and everything. It's still early. It's still about 3 minutes before 3, and we usually like to wait about 5 minutes afterwards. We're trying to make up this something of a more, more, casual and more, at least once a month or something that we can do something about, our lives or things like that. So start preparing for something, Zeke, okay?
I will. I'm ready to go. Thank you.
No pressures.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, yes. I love what you're wearing, Katina, also. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. It's one of my sober shirts.
I love it.
I have a whole wardrobe made out of sobriety, so came with nothing.
Lots of things to talk about, but is that, I guess this is one of those questions that you never ask someone, are you wearing extensions or is that your whole hair?
I've had people ask me if it's my real hair. It's real. Can't afford fake hair. It's expensive. Got tuition to pay
I should
for.
start asking questions. And like, oh yeah, we have really asked that, but I forgot. So
I'm an open book.
I know. So I'm just gonna.
They used to ask my mom that, and she'd say, "Yes, it's mine. I bought it."
It is true. I have heard that when somebody has plastic surgery or something, and they ask them and say, "Of course it's mine. I paid a lot of money for these things."
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. Oh my God. How are you guys doing in where you are in Texas, right, Katina?
Yes.
And you say,
I'm in Texas. Yeah,
oh, you're in Texas as well. But are you in the same town?
we are. We know each other.
Yeah, we know each other.
Hey, all right. I hope things are going okay right there. San Francisco, Detroit. In Detroit. Okay, Claire, got you. Hi, Claire. We will mute the participants in a few minutes, but for right now we're just chatting. San Francisco has been doing very well, with the whole COVID-19, but I just posted the whole thing about what the World Health Organization just said. So we had to be a little bit careful anyway. And I will talk about that briefly before I introduce you.
Okay.
Just to mention that because it's like a last minute news, if you want to call it that way.
There's a message.
Your last name is Garcia?
Yes. Well, I got married recently. Yeah, Katina, since the last time I saw you. So
Yes, I saw your photos.
yeah, COVID wedding. It was interesting. I've been.
My God.
So my last name is Merton. Garcia Merton.
All
Got
right.
married on my birthday in November the 28th.
On your birthday?
Yeah, everything happened at once. I got married and turned 50. I celebrated 50 years old.
Wow.
And got married on the very day. Incredible. Yeah.
You look so young. I will never say 50.
As you do too. Yeah, you look. Everybody's very youthful. I've seen Katina grow. Oh my God, so much.
Oh no.
You serious?
Yeah, she's beautiful. I've seen her. She's very determined.
How long do you know each other?
She's a great inspiration. I'm gonna say at least 5 years, maybe 4 to 5 years for sure.
Yeah.
Such an inspiration you are. I can't wait to listen to you. No pressure.
I've done really good staying out of my head this week, so that's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I overthink these things and then do like a Tootsie Roll tumble of like over preparing and then not knowing what to say. So I really haven't done any notes or anything.
Sorry,
don't worry. I have been in presentations that sometimes just like, here is Jesus Guillen, and you're like, oh, okay, what do I say, right? And then let you do whatever you want. But no, you'll see, it's very casual, just conversation, and I love doing that. And I try to always think about all the questions that people can think about, and just like that. So don't even worry. I already been reading a little bit about your. I think I did my homework a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
If I may, Katina, think about the annotation that you have on your story. Like, okay, I'm going to be totally vulnerable and very honest.
Yeah.
I am on here to support you because I believe so much in you, and you've got this. It's just a continuum of your story.
Yeah.
And in the 4 years, like that I can reflect on, 5 years, 4 years, let's say 4 years that I've known you, it's tremendous, the amount of growth that you have, shown to the community as a whole. So I am super proud of you, and I'm here to support you.
By the way, Claire is saying that she's listening already, even if we haven't started, but that she's with kids. So,
okay.
Yeah, and events like this sometimes.
My light is really bad. Sorry.
Yeah, lighting. I always was checking about that lighting, sound these days. All these things that we do. If it's a small group or a big group or something, remember also once again that all this information, then we can share it with many other people later on. I'm always amazed of every time that I talk to, someone in the group, that how every story is so incredible, and so many things behind the person that you just like, what? So we're getting there. So let's just wait, a few more minutes, 3 more minutes or so, and we can start. And then if people keep coming in, I will let them in. You don't worry about any of these things. I'll try to have control over things. Claire has. Can you see the chat? Yeah, I guess so.
A little bit.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry. I'll keep track of that too. Also, you prefer questions at the end?
It really doesn't matter. We can ask questions, or I can do like a brief introduction of myself, and then if they have questions, we can open it up.
Yeah, I'll chat with you, and we haven't gotten all these things, but sometimes we according to whatever you feel more comfortable to, we can let the people here ask questions at the end or something. But believe me, I have like 100,000, so don't worry.
Okay.
So let's just wait just a couple of more minutes and we can start.
That sounds great.
Yeah, people, by the way, Katina, people have been requesting me already more than a few. You're going to record it. You're going to have it available for us to hear later, because they want to hear, they want to know. And so we'll do that. I'll take care of that. You'll be in every possible.
Thank you.
I tried to do it. Oh my God, are you serious, Claire? Oh, she's saying hello to you guys. But she's also talking. Oh my God, let me just send her a note really fast, and we can just start casually.
Claire, if you ever need someone to talk to, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I know the struggles of counts dropping or going up is very stressful. I've lived with it my entire life. And I do get better at dealing with that anxiety. I can sit down with the door closed now, so that's good. Normally I need the doctor's door open because I just freak out. Arms are like disappearing from this background. I guess it's too close to the color.
I was looking that sometimes when you were drinking, your drink will disappear too.
Yeah.
Um,
Technical glitches. It's okay.
so the recording already started, and we can just start, if you don't mind, just
Okay.
casually, and then I'll keep track of the rest of the things. So welcome, everyone. We've been trying to do these kinds of conversations in the HIV London Survivors Group for a little while. We have done, we have already had some powerful women and some amazing men, of course, too, also, and in conversations with some members of our transgender community and different areas. And I'm always incredibly proud to have these chats. The group always has been about inclusion, about to really try to hear the voices of many people. Before anything else, and when we started, I do have to, because it is very important, just to read you a little bit about the latest news about HIV and COVID-19. This comes from the World Health Organization. We know that from the beginning. Once again, it has been a lot of information going up and down here and there about HIV and COVID-19. So the latest things I'm just gonna read you very briefly, and you can find this information already online in different pages, including in our group. It says that the World Health Organization warns that HIV infection increases risk of severe and critical COVID-19. When I read this, kind of scared me a little bit immediately, because it is good information and it is a good article. It doesn't say if they're talking about people unvaccinated, or but I imagine that that's what they're talking about, because they keep asking people to get vaccinated. But the data, it does sound a little bit scary. That's the last thing that I want to do, guys. But please do pass this information to the rest of the family. It does says that it's found that the risk of developing severe or fatal COVID-19 was 30% greater in people living with HIV compared to people without HIV infection. So this is very important. Please do keep taking care of yourselves, and get vaccinated if you can. And it is a decision of not getting vaccinated. It is personal, but remember also that the rest of the family are also affected, or so guys, for the ones that are here, and also for the ones that they will see this recording later on, I am incredibly proud, and I've been looking forward to this conversation for a good while. We have with us Katina Adcock, and one of the things, I don't even remember exactly how we talked briefly. As soon as she mentioned that she was born with HIV, it really touched me, because I haven't had that conversation with someone. And many people in our group sometimes forget, and that's that we have a young population in our group, that that they were born with HIV, or they became HIV positive when they were very young. So so welcome, Katina.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have you here, and just to get to know you and get to know your story. So before anything else, and you can just tell us a little bit about yourself. Um, I know that English is my second language, but uh, tell us a little bit about yourself, and also the concept of perinatal HIV, people, or the groups and the community. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind. And welcome.
Okay. So I wasn't told about my status until I was a preteen. So I was given medicine and went to doctor's appointments, and I thought it was a normal thing. I thought every kid went to the doctor every 4 to 3 months, and drove hundreds of miles to the Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas. And then, you know, I became a preteen, and they were worried about me starting to get interested in sexuality, and they made the decision to sit me down in a doctor's office and tell me that I was HIV positive. At that age, I believe I was 11, so I really had I had no idea what they were talking about, and I really didn't process any of that because I was mad that my family kept a secret from me. And then to come to find out that everybody knew but me, I felt very isolated and very alone. So they invited me to a summer camp where kids were also positive, and it was held within Houston, Texas for Camp for All. And I have met some beautiful, wonderful people that I've had stayed in communication with since then. That's where I found my first boyfriend, and you know, having that intimate connection of us being similar, I thought he was like Prince Charming. So I followed him to the depths of hell, and that is where my life choices started getting a little out of control. I wasn't in acceptance of my situation. I just kind of was in denial about it. And both my family and my friends would always ask me, "Are you taking your medicine?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, I'm taking them." When in fact I wasn't. I did not adhere to my medicine, which later in line has caused me to burn a lot of them.
Katina, and I know you're getting into some very important points. So
Sure.
when you were a kid, you were not taking any medication, or you were?
Oh no, I was as a child, they had liquid medicine.
Okay.
So they would
They
fill it
never
up
told you.
with syringes and squirt it in my mouth, and I would run off and play.
They
Um,
were not telling you what it was for, or
they just said it would help me stay better, stay healthy.
wow.
And that was a personal choice by both medical providers and my adopted father, who were trying to give me the most pleasant childhood that they could, because they knew that my life was going to change drastically once I needed to be an adult and make safer, healthier choices.
Yeah. Curiously, that was one of the things that I was gonna think about. I got no idea what it will be exactly to live your whole life with HIV, because I was a young man when that happened. So I have a comparison
Mhm.
to what it was before, and then physically and mentally. So physically, you never felt any particular issues, or?
So health wise, there were some moments of concern, and that's when I would go more frequently to the doctor. Um, and again, I think I was just ignorantly blissful until I was told, and then I went along with suggestions to continue to be on studies to help others. And there was a point where I was too old to take the liquid medicine, and they wanted me to transition to capsule medicine. And I didn't know how to swallow pills, so I was crunching them. I was eating them like food. And when they found out, then I had to go to a special class to take medicine. But that was still when I was very young, and it wasn't a horrible experience. I think they gave me a gift card for just doing the class, so I was cool with it. Um,
If in any
so
if in any moment, by the way, I get personal or things, you let me know, okay?
Oh no, I'm good.
How was I guess I want to know a little bit more about your reaction when your parents told you. Um, what did you think? What did you feel?
So again, I didn't fully comprehend um the full situation. I just knew that um I was supposed to follow the suggestion to not tell anyone unless I was going to be sexually active with them. And they warned me not to say anything at school to prevent bullying. And the first thing I did was tell people. um, and it did backfire, and there was some bullying, but there were also wonderful, beautiful people that stuck by me, both from middle school and from high school, that I still have communications with. And um, I checked in with so many people to make sure it was okay to share parts of our stories, because I didn't survive this alone by any means. I have a huge, huge support now that I'm open and honest about my situation. I kept it a secret for a very, very long time, and it made me very sick and very lonely.
I think, and you mentioned that not many people from our young community are still willing to speak up openly about this. Exactly because of all the elements that you're mentioning, bullying and dating and different parts of ourselves. Um, let's keep going with that portion. Okay, you knew about it, and then you say that you started to have maybe some choices that they were not the right choices about you, like skipping medicine. Or I know that also you mentioned you are clean and sober right now, and
Yes.
right. So is this that happen in those particular also times of your life when everything started?
So, lots of things happened between the time I was told about my status and getting to the point where I chose to be clean and sober. I was in bad relationships with both family and gentlemen alike. And I took a lot of unwanted or unneeded abuse. And to get over those feelings, I chose to drink and drug, and also um, to try to normalize my situation. I tried to be normal, which is now I know it's impossible. I'm normal just because I am. Um, so I went into a very dark cycle of drinking and driving and stealing and cheating for the things that I wanted and needed. And I burnt a lot of bridges with relationships with people in my life. And I'm just now recently getting back in communication with some of the people that I had done wrong to, which is part of the program. Eventually, we're able to make those amends for whatever we feel we needed to do to make it right.
Yeah, the we know by now, of course, that he's fighting about doing drugs and somehow fix ourselves
Mhm.
or to feel normal. It is part of many members of our community, but um, I feel like in your case, and I know you can tell me more, that you're just starting to discover life,
Yeah.
and when do you think you really became aware of the whole concept of being a person living with HIV that really kind of took you, or you understood more about that?
I think when that moment happened was probably around 5 years ago. Um, I knew that if I needed to get better and stop drinking and drugging, I needed to work on the acceptance of being HIV positive. Um, so I made a decision to post on Facebook that I was born HIV positive. And I really didn't ask permission. I just told my family, hey, I'm doing this. And if you want to unfriend me or be mad, we can do that later. Because I couldn't live in fear anymore. Can't live in fear of what people are going to think, or to present myself as if everything is fine. Because there are days that I love life and I'm happy and I'm joyous and I'm free. But then there are days where I struggle to just get out of bed and brush my hair and brush my teeth because I'm either in pain or I'm fatigued, or I'm just not having a good day. And that's something I realize is a normal thing. Everybody struggles, everybody has good days and bad days. And it's not because I'm HIV positive, it's because I'm human. And that made a huge difference in my life. And I will be forever grateful to myself and people who supported me when I made that decision, because it has changed my life forever. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, because I had lived in this guilt and this shame of something I didn't even do. I did nothing wrong except being born. And I think being able to let that constant worry of someone finding out my deepest, darkest secret has liberated me to just breathe and to just be.
I want to thank you in the name also of other people. About 2 weeks ago, a lady from Texas, curiously, in her case, she's married, she has kids, and she works in a job that is public. So she reached out to me saying that not even her kids knew that she was HIV positive. So what you're doing right now is, hopefully, I like to think that way, giving power not only in general to other HIV positive people, but to women, um, that is still sometimes and many times the stigma goes to them that they are guilty about something that many times is their partners or things that happen. Also, woman, what do you think is the stigma that comes with HIV, and what kind of message, what kind of words can you tell another women, and especially like this lady again was also living in Texas?
Well, Texas is a huge state, and unfortunately, I feel that as a state and as a country as a whole, we don't speak up enough about education. And um, I think a big difference now is the U equals U. Undetectable means untransmittable. That made a huge difference in my life, and that put my heart and my soul at ease, that even when I was in my active addiction, I didn't necessarily put as many people in danger as I thought I did,
Yeah.
because I know that my higher power kept me healthy enough to stay alive through all of that. And there were only a few times where my counts were, I don't want to call them bad, but they were elevated. And that's a miracle in itself. I've been in tons of studies. They don't understand why I'm so lucky, which I did. I didn't used to like those words, but I'm very grateful that I have been lucky and have been healthy for the most part. What I would say to other women is people are always going to misunderstand this, and people are always going to judge you no matter what you look like, no matter what you wear, and no matter how much education you have. We will always be women. And unfortunately, nothing is going to change unless we speak our truth. And that's why I do these things, even though I feel vulnerable and I'm nervous and I'm scared of what's going to happen afterwards. I know that as long as one person hears me and gets motivated to do something different about their life, then it has been all worth it. And I wish that there were more women speaking out for those who are younger than us. I know that there are still women giving birth to children that are becoming positive, even in 2021, and that breaks my heart. All it takes is a test and medication that has been proven to work since before I was born. So if people would just get tested and take the medicine, they could outlive normal human beings. And that is unfortunately not said enough.
Yeah. So before anything else, people, did you hear the words "you equal you"? Once again, undetectable means untransmittable. There's not enough time and efforts that we can do to keep passing this message. In particularly, our communities know it, but society out there is still, sometimes if you tell them what "you equal you" means, they got no idea. Many people. We need to put this message on television, radio, everywhere, and every person of Katina and the other people together right here, and many of the people that we're gonna hear this message, keep posting it in, keep passing it around, is super important. So Katina, I wanna go back a little bit, because this is also about getting to know you, and it is something that I'm enjoying to do that. When you came out so strongly, because I remember coming out like first to one person, maybe like this. You just like went for it.
Yeah, I did.
Like, here I am, Katina. Accept me, not accept me is gonna be your problem. But if you can remember the good support, and also asking you if you receive any bad reactions from anyone.
So of course my adopted family was a little hesitant. I was very new in my second try of recovery. And they were worried that the repercussions of my actions would make me go back out and use again. And then there were other reactions from my biological family where they didn't want me to say anything. They were, I guess, fearful that it would be connected to them, or unfortunately, a lot of them are not educated about HIV, and they just live in fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
But I did have a few people reach out to me and ask me why I would do such a thing, and aren't you afraid of people hurting you? And to be honest, I'd been hurt before without my status being known. So I really didn't have a fear of being unfriended or unwanted, because I've already experienced those at a very young and fragile part of my life. I had experienced bullying and um, even cruel jokes of saying certain things, trying to identify why I was HIV positive, whether it was because I was sexually active or I was a junkie, or even going to talk bad about my mother who passed it unknowingly to me. So there wasn't really any fear. It was more of an opportunity to give me freedom of the word HIV, because that's how I lived my life for over 20 years, I lived in that fear that someone was going to find out and not like me. And so I just let it go. And I said, if you want to be my friend, cool. If you don't want to be my friend, you were never meant to be in my life to begin with. And have a wonderful life.
Katina, remind us, how old are you?
I am going to be 33 on August 23rd.
Did you hear that? Family, did you hear that? And we're seeing clear. Remember, people, also that many times when we see someone young, as Katina, we make assumptions. We don't even recognize that they are HIV long-term survivors. We make so many mistakes in what we think. So rethink your way of thinking, and before making an assumption, try to have a conversation before that. So let's I know, and maybe you can tell me a little bit more. It seems like you've been now an advocate for a little while already. I mean, I think that you've been an advocate your whole life without even wanting or thinking about it. But I haven't seen much inclusion of perinatal HIV long-term survivors in studies or data or anything like that. Is there anything that you know about that? Because I've been looking, and I think that definitely should be more inclusion, but I haven't seen much of that. Is there anything that you know about that you can think of?
I think the reason why there isn't a whole lot done about that, and I can only share about my experience, but I was part of a study as a child, and this is just from adults telling me the story. I'm too young to remember, but there was a group of children who were HIV positive within the San Antonio community. And as far as I understand, I'm not sure of the facts being 100%, but I am the lone survivor of those kids in San Antonio.
Wow.
So a lot of them, unfortunately, did not make it due to possibly not getting the treatment that they needed, or the family being fearful of going in to get services for their children.
Yeah.
Not to bash child protective services, but a lot of parents are afraid to get help both physically and mentally for their children, fearful of being charged of neglect or harming their children. And I think that's part of the reason why women are afraid to go get tested. They're afraid that their children may be taken away from them. But that's just what I feel in my heart. I know that I've had opportunities of being pregnant and losing my child, and it was hard, but as much as I hate to say it, I'm glad that they weren't born, because I was not ready to be a mother. I hadn't even accepted my own situation, let alone try to raise another human being that would possibly be born positive. Because there's always that 1% chance that the medicine doesn't work.
Thank you for talking about that. I mean, for everything that you're saying. But I tried to do my homework, as I said, and I didn't even know how to approach that with you, because I did, in one of the articles that I read, that in 25 kids that they were born with HIV, there was a high percentage of they were gone by now. And then I started thinking about you, that I was going to talk to you. So I didn't even know how to approach this conversation. I don't even think we know much about what had happened to many of these kids, and therefore to look for better solutions. So anyway, I thank you for that. So let's talk about a little bit about a whole different thing. It has been said by now that every HIV long-term survivor, the only thing in common is copying skills that vary from person to person. Did I read something about art in your information or something like that, being you creative or things like that?
Yes. So I am left-handed, and there's lots of studies of left-handed people being more creative than right-handed people. I'm just gonna put that out there. So I loved coloring as a child. That was like my happy pastime, and both my father and my grandmother recognized that, and they instantly put me in art classes, lots and lots and lots of art classes. And I think even to this day, I get art supplies for Christmas.
Were you a troublemaker kid?
I was actually pretty good. I tried to be good until I was 18, and then it was off to the races.
Believe me, I started my troublemaking days at 40, so hey.
Yeah, so I do have an associate's in art, an associate's degree in art. I just wanted to finish it to prove a point. So I am artistic, and I love photography. That was my ultimate goal when I was younger, was to join the Air Force and be a photographer. And because of my status, that was not feasible. So I the way I coped with that was I joined ROTC in high school, and I lived my dream by taking photographs and being a videographer and making scrapbooks during my 4 years of ROTC. And then I ran away with my boyfriend and went to college in Corpus Christi for a little bit before I came back to San Antonio.
Do you really think art in your case, or what other strengths do you think is, we forget many times to talk about this, what are your strengths? Do you think art had helped you with that?
I believe it has. Part of my story is captured by photographs. Every step of the way of my recovery, my grandfather and my father were photographers, and I had a camera in my hand at a very cheap camera, a very little disposable, like the ones that you'd hit and it'd flash. So I've held a camera for a very long time, and I let go of that passion because of my active addiction. And people around me started seeing my art, and I don't want to say they bullied me into it, but they were like, "You have a talent and you need to use it." And I was like, "Oh my God, you sound like my grandma." So I picked up a camera and I started taking photos of people in sobriety and their weddings and birthdays and baby showers, and now I have a business card saying that I'm a photographer. And it's the card has photos that I took. Everything that is me is on that card that I'm able to pass out to anyone that needs a photographer on the side, because that is not my job. That's just my side hustle. I think my other passion, and it came later on once I got sober, was I wanted to be someone that people could come and talk to. Yeah. I didn't really understand what an ally was until someone said the word, "You're an ally." And I was like, "What? What'd you call me?"
Like, what?
But, so I'm definitely an ally of people in recovery, of people who have survived sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental health, HIV recovery, family violence. I've seen it and experienced it all. I'm also a survivor of miscarriage, and that is something that a lot of women don't really talk about. It's recently coming out. Some women are speaking their truth finally, and I think that's due to social media. We're no longer just one city. We're connected through technology, and I know a lot of people don't like that, especially during the COVID time. But the virtual world has definitely saved my ass more than once.
Yeah, you are so powerful and so beautiful for real. Um, I always tell people that in my case also, I am a stubborn Capricorn, and that have helped me through my journey. Besides, yeah, art and other things. If you would say, Katina, is what good adjectives you find for you that had helped you, that you think it had helped you in your journey?
A lot of people will say my humor is one of my best strengths. It used to be a defense mechanism. And sometimes it still is. When I'm uncomfortable, I'll start making inappropriate jokes, or
Yeah.
I'll say something that I know is absolutely absurd, and it will no longer put the focus on Katina. It will put the focus on whatever I just said out of my mouth. Um, and there's sometimes where I have said things, and then days later, I'm like, wow, I probably shouldn't have said that. And had to go back and say, I'm so sorry I said that. That was not nice. I was being a bully. So humor is definitely one of my attributes. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, but most of the time it helps people to connect with me. A lot of people that have seen me grow have told me I'm now approachable. Because I was afraid, lost little girl still. I did not want anyone to approach me. I didn't want people to ask me questions, and that is something I do my best to do today is be an open book. When I'm feeling vulnerable, when I'm feeling agitated, when I'm in pain, I speak those truths, even if it makes people feel uncomfortable. And it's not to get pity. And that's something that I've struggled with, when people are like, oh, I'm so sorry you were born HIV positive. Oh, I'm so sorry that you've been through all these things. And it's not to get empathy, it's to show others that if I can do it, you can do it. Um, because there were lots of people before me that lived through it and just didn't speak their truth. And I'm speaking for them, especially, I recently outlived my mother. She died um, at 29. So I made a big deal for my 30th birthday, not only to honor myself and my life, but to honor her. She gave birth to, I am the second youngest of the two girls and then three boys. So that's six children before she was 29. Um, and I don't know her. She died back in 93 from complications of HIV. So there's times where I reach out to my older biological siblings and ask them questions to see if they know the answer. I do know that she liked coloring, and that's pretty much the only real connection. Other than I look like her. I have photos of her, and we'll put side to side sometimes on Facebook, and I'm like, that's weird because they say genes are powerful things, and I'm like, whatever. Nothing like my mom, and, then I see the photos and I realize that if she didn't give me anything, she gave me her face. Um, and one day over the rainbow, we might be able to be reconnected and have those conversations and be able to ask those questions of, did you love me? Did you want me? Were you happy? Was your life hard? Were you lonely? Um, But until then, I do my best to just live my best life. And when I start feeling those feelings, I have those connections with both my biological family and my adopted family, and now my recovery family and my HIV community. And I would have never imagined that all of that would happen. at a young age. When I was 11 years old, I felt alone in the world, and now I feel like I'm but one ant in the ant kingdom, the pile of ants, you know. And I'm just one of the worker ants, and y'all are too. And if we don't work together, our little ant pile is going to collapse. And I wish that other people who are fearful of getting help with any of their problems or situations are going to stay trapped until they reach for that hand. And I hope that anyone who hears me does get help. I did not do this alone. I go to counseling. Um, I have women and gentlemen in recovery. I have my coworkers. I have people in the long-term survival group and other chat rooms and different social media apps. So um, there's always an opportunity for me to reach out and ask for help if I want to.
Exactly. In Katina, by the way, that will be one of the things that if later on or right now or when people see this, if they want to reach out to you, I will leave it up to you. You want to give us, of course, your information, but I think you can find her in, like she say, in different social media and groups. But if Katina allows, we will provide you with that information. We're getting close to that time, but I still have like the last two questions. And if whoever again wants to chat or ask a question, but super important, I think, is do you know other people that they were also born with HIV? Um, and I think it's very important that you also send a message to them in any way that you want to do that.
I do know other people who are born positive, but that's only through the networking of social media. I don't know anyone in San Antonio that was born HIV positive. That doesn't mean that they're not out there. And I do know that a lot of kids who were infected with HIV were not born with it, but were given blood transfusions or some kind of situation that happened, and they didn't have side effects or issues until they were teenagers. So I wish that more would speak out and tell their story so that we could smash the idea of um, our actions are what caused us to be positive. Because unfortunately, a lot of us were not aware that we were putting ourselves in danger or that something bad had happened to us until it was later on in life.
I think we're gonna have to do another time a Katina 2.0 because there's so many more conversations that I mean, questions and things just myself. So for the people here again, you want to now come to this, but I want you also, if you're okay with it, to send a message to our group of HIV long-term survivors. They got no idea what they're missing, and I think they gonna be amazed when they hear this. So send a message to the group also to the HIV long-term survivors, especially the ones that hear you. Tell them whatever you want.
So what I would say to the HIV long-term survivors or anyone who's recently diagnosed, someone who's afraid to get tested, you are not alone. And there are so many programs and organizations out there to support you and to help you and to love you. And I'm definitely an ally. And if for whatever reason you're struggling with whatever situation, know that I'm always available. My phone is never off. It may not be necessarily right next to me, but it is never off. And I do my best to respond when and if I can. And when I am too busy, because, I have a life now. I have an agenda that's full for at least a week in advance, and I would have never imagined that. So once you get your shit together, your life gets busy and it gets wonderful. And um, the one thing that has always helped me is don't quit before the miracles happen. I've had so many miracles in my life, and they continue to happen. In a few days, I will be starting at Texas A&M University as a junior to complete my bachelor's in psychology. And one of my dreams as a child was to go to Texas A&M. So I'm super proud of myself, but I'm proud of everyone else who dealt with all of my bullshit to get me here, because I did not make this journey easy. I dragged my heels. I was like the dog that just like lays flat and gets dragged through life. That was me for 20 years. I was being dragged through life. And today I walk up with my head held high most days. Most days I have a smile on my face, and you know, some of my coworkers are shocked when they come in and I'm humming or I'm dancing horribly because I can't dance. But my life and the perspective of the possibilities have changed immensely. Every day it gets better. So just don't give up on yourself, because you're worthy and you're worth it.
I mean it, honestly. Thank you. I'm a very emotional person, so I can't really like, okay, that's fine. I really appreciate it. This conversation for real. So thank you so much. I don't know if anyone wants to say something else or something, but I hope I have the pleasure to meeting you and the rest of you guys. Aquí tienen su casa, San Francisco. Is there anything else that you want to mention before we say goodbye for now?
No, just if anyone has questions, my Facebook is open to the public. I do not lock it up to anybody. So if anyone wants to find me, you can find me. I'm easily reachable.
Thank you. I really think this has been fabulous. So I really appreciate, guys. Please, if you have any questions, once again, you can reach out directly to Katina or to myself. We're here to help each other. You know, if we don't do that, sometimes we still feel sometimes there's still the discrimination around. But with us, you know that sometimes you don't have to explain things. You just say it and we get you. Already. So, Jesus Guillen from San Francisco, HIV London survivors, love you all. Estamos en contacto. We see you soon in another time. Thank you so much, Katina, and thank you guys for being here. And let's share this. Let's share it. Let's share it. Let's share the interview everywhere. All right. Love you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
There you go. Bye.
Gift of perspective. Well done.